Good evening, this is Alan Ayers, and I am just checking in from my car here in Plano, Texas. And tonight I'm going to be speaking to you about patient loyalty and urgent care. So the reason why patient loyalty is important really goes to marketing cost. Urgent care is what we would call a volume-driven business, which means after you see a sufficient number of patients to cover your fixed costs, things like rent, utilities, base staffing levels, every incremental visit to your center contributes directly to the center's bottom line. So obviously the most successful urgent cares are those with the highest volumes, and the highest volumes, or you attain volume in urgent care by having more patients. Well, you get more patients by spending money on marketing. When we look at marketing in urgent care, it is an expense. I would really consider it more of an investment that has ROI, but effectively you're spending money to raise awareness of the community. Patients see your advertising, they respond to the advertising, they come to your center. So for every new patient in your urgent care, there's what we would call an acquisition cost. There's a cost to get that patient through the door. Well, if you're a new center attracting new patients, the acquisition cost is fairly high. It takes various multimedia tactics, and it takes some time before patients really get the idea that your urgent care exists and until they have an urgent care need to use your center. So the reason for loyalty really goes to acquisition cost. People tend to be creatures of habit. So if you can get a patient into the center initially, you've already invested acquisition cost, you've invested in marketing to get that patient in. Well, once the patient uses your center, you become their provider of first choice. Your marketing spend for that specific patient can fall dramatically. And over time, as you have more loyal patients, more repeat patients, your marketing costs should go down because your loyal patient or your existing patient is the cheapest patient that you have. Now, if you lose a loyal patient, that means you have to replace that patient with someone off the street, which requires an entirely new marketing investment, and then that new patient coming in would have an extraordinarily high acquisition cost. And fact of the matter is, over time, is if you can't keep your existing patients, you're continually churning patients, having to continually pull new patients in off the street. Well, if you have a bad enough reputation, or eventually you exhaust the number of new patients available in the community, it's going to become increasingly difficult or increasingly expensive to attract new people. So clearly, the reason for loyalty is that your loyal patients are your cheapest patients. But not only are your loyal patients your cheapest patients from an acquisition standpoint, they're also patients that will do your marketing for you. So these are patients that presumably will tell friends and family whenever they have a healthcare need, hey, use such and such urgent care center. I've been going there for years, and I know they can take good care of you. So we know loyalty is extraordinarily important to the long-term success of all service businesses. And if you look at service businesses outside of healthcare, they've really mastered this concept of patient loyalty. So in Chicago, sometimes if I have an early morning flight, I'll drive down the night before, and there's a specific Hampton Inn at the Chicago O'Hare Airport that often I'll stay at. So recently I went to the Hampton Inn, and when I checked in my room, there were a number of items left for me. One was a note. It was a note from the housekeeping staff, welcome back to our hotel. They had remembered that I had stayed there before and left me a note just welcoming me back, thanking me for my loyalty. And then there were a couple little gifts. They left me a coffee mug, so I would have a reminder of my favorite Hampton Inn. Not really a coffee drinker, but if I were, every time I go to make my morning coffee, there's my favorite Hampton Inn. And they also left me a little Chicago Windy City keychain. So that little investment showed that this one specific hotel really valued my loyalty. They recognized that I was a loyal guest. And so I ask in your urgent care, what do you do to recognize loyal patients? Oftentimes I hear or see an urgent care center when a patient walks in, the front desk staff uses medical billing terminology. Are you new or established? new or established, what does that mean? When you walk in, the staff should recognize you as being a repeat patient or being a loyal patient, and if they do, it really should be a greeting like the 1980 sitcom Cheers. You know, so in Cheers, Norm would enter the bar and everyone was like, Norm! You know, they knew it was the place where everybody knew your name and you were always welcome. Well, that's really how your urgent care should be. Now, you really can't expect your front desk staff to have 5 or 10,000 faces memorized, but still, checking in the system, if you identify that a patient's been there before, do you say anything to recognize that patient's loyalty? Do you say thank you for your loyalty, or welcome back, or it's so good to see you again, or how can we help you again today? Just little things to recognize that the patient's put forth an effort to return to your business. So again, the point is, loyal patients make for successful urgent care centers. If you have any additional marketing questions, feel free to contact us at Practice Velocity. Again, this is Alan Ayers. I'm just checking in. Thanks again.